welcome to this episode of Let's Talk, Let's Think. I'm your host, Carrie Braggs, and today we're going to discuss that heated topic with just when you just bringing it up gets people excited and foaming at the mouth and makes them want to fight somebody. And that thing is, you guessed it, politics. Politics make people act like wild animals, and so I'm not going to say that I don't understand, but I think it's gotten to, things have gone too far, and they've gotten to a level to where it's just, I don't think people are looking at the bigger picture, and they need to take a few steps back. So I'm making this video because of some run-ins I've had with co-workers and family members and just different things concerning politics, when I never thought it would get to that level. But some might say, I don't see why you say that, because everybody knows there are two things you don't discuss. You don't discuss politics and you don't discuss religion. But they never tell you why you're not supposed to discuss politics and religion. And I'm going to say the reality of why people say you shouldn't, you're never supposed to discuss politics and religion. The reality is because people are not mature enough to have the discussion. Yes, I said it. That's the truth. Take it to the bank if you sit back and think about it. But that's what this is for. We're talking about it, giving you a chance to think about it, letting it kind of, get into your mind where you can say, aha, hey, that was a good point. And you may have an aha moment. But even if you don't, once again, the reality is we are supposed to be able to respectfully agree to disagree. And so, as I said, people are not mature enough to have that discussion. And that the reason that is because most people take those things personal. They take those things personal. And so that's the thing, the question I'm going to ask today is, should you take politics personal? There is the things where it says, and so I thought about this, and it was just kind of hard trying to see how to word it, how to put it together, and what direction to go in with the video. But I decided, hey, let me just discuss how things go. I notice even within the body of Christ, and it breaks my heart every time the presidential election comes around. It breaks my heart because I see brothers and sisters divide in Christ. They divide over politics, which it should not be. And I'll make a confession here myself. Years ago, when I wasn't mature enough to have the conversation, I took it personal as well. And the thing of it is, this is how it would go. You will be having a discussion with someone about politics, about a candidate or something like that. And then they would say, yeah, that's why I'm voting for such and such. And if they weren't voting for the one I'm voting for, or they weren't with the party I was with, all of a sudden my mindset went to, oh, you're one of them. You're one of them. Because in my mind, how could you vote for that person who does this and does that and it's against this and it's not for... And so, I used to be that same way. But that's why I say people get upset about it, because they're not mature enough to have the conversation. But I've since then matured, and so I want to try to help you do the same. And so these are three things that people seem to forget when it comes to voting. So number one is, you have the right to vote for who you want to vote for. So I just say the right to choose. The right to choose. The right to choose your candidate. So when I will be having these discussions, I'm sitting up and I'm thinking about what party I belong to, and it's personal. And I'm sitting up, and my mindset is I belong to this party. Usually, it's things dealing with race and economic background and class status and all these different things. So one party says this, one party says that, and so we like, well, I fit into that based off of my income or based off of my race. And so it just turns into a whole lot of mess when people should be, looking at the issues. So, but that's just me. But that's the reality of it. But a lot of times we base who we vote for off of those different things there. But we never take the time to say that everyone has the right to choose who they vote for. So, I mean, it's one of those things to say, how can you get upset with who a person is voting for, but they don't have the right to do that with you? Because in your mind, you're right and they're wrong. And you can't do that. So that's one part there. That wall needs to be broken down brick by brick. That's part of the problem right there. Because you sit up and you feel that you are right and they are wrong. And you have your list of reasons of why you are right about this candidate and why they are wrong about the candidate they're voting for. And so everybody does that instead of remembering everybody has the right to choose the candidate that they want to vote for. And so that brings me to number 2. We forget something else when it comes to a person's right to choose the candidate. We forget why people vote. So number 2 is people vote for what's most important to them. What's most important? What's most important to you? No, to them. What's most important to them, which doesn't have anything to do with you. And that's a reality. When I vote, I'm not going into the voting booth and say, I wonder what this race is voting. I wonder what this class is voting. I wonder what this person with this economical status is voting. What are they voting? What are they voting for and why? I'm going in there voting what I'm voting for, what is important to me, not what's important to you. And last time I checked, I think you're doing the same thing, aren't you? So even though I may not agree with the candidate that you're voting for, you have that right. You have that right to vote for whoever you want to vote for. And then number 2, you're voting for what's most important to you. And I'm voting for what's most important to me. And they might not be the same thing. And so if the thing most important to me is on this side, that's who I'm voting for. And if the thing that's most important to you is on that side, that's who you're voting for. So who am I to get upset with you because you're voting your conscience, you're voting for what's most important to you and your family? How dare I look at you and say, hey, you wrong because your candidate is this and he's that and blah, blah, this and blah, blah, that. Whoa. No candidate is perfect. It's shadiness on both sides of the aisle. Let me just go ahead and jump out there and say that, because people want to get into these arguments and debates and oh, I'm a Republican, I'm a Democrat. Let me set the record straight. I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I am a Christian man who votes for a candidate. That's how I vote. I vote for what is most important to me. And I'm sorry if you're upset about that and you want to take that personal, but last time I checked, I got to live for me and you got to live for you, don't you? And so we forget that we all voting for different reasons, and we all have different reasons why we're choosing certain candidates or certain parties. And we have that right. We have that right to choose, and that's what it's set up for. That's why they have the Republicans, the Democrats, the Independent to sit up and say, hey, you got different choices in here to vote for who you want to vote for. But sadly, and I'm just going to throw this out here, that you have a lot of propaganda and things going on in the media where it makes it seem like, you know, it's demonizing the right and making it seem like, hey, if you're not with the left, people are hating, and it's just ridiculous, and that should not be. So that's another reason I'm stepping out here to bring this up, because really, overall, it is what it is. I have no problems with living my life and doing what I need to do and allowing others to do the same. But I see so many people's not doing that, and so with this last election, when I found myself in situations with people that I'm close to and family members and conversations coming up, and I'm sitting up and I'm just saying, okay, whoa, why are you being hostile? There was a lot of hostility in the air and a lot of anger within the conversation. And I said to myself, I'm like, now me, myself, yes, I will get emotional about the reasons I'm voting for a candidate or what's on the table and what the issues are. But mind you, okay, it just is what it is. While we're having this conversation, I will get emotional and be like, hey man, no, this, and this is why this, and it is what it is. Now, let's not get it twisted. God is still in control of everything. I don't want to, surprise anybody or shock anybody out there, but God is in control. So whoever he lets be in office, that's who he allows to be in office. And whatever they do while they're in office, he allowed it. So there you have it right there. So there's no need to get caught up in all of that. Oh, well, such and such get in office and this, that, and other. And I will, like I said, I've been there. But the part that troubles me is this last part, is that, people take it personal. People take it personal, and they shouldn't. And let me explain why. Because I know people take it personal because these are important things to them. And I'm not saying that I don't understand that. I take these things personal too. That's why I say I have had these, spirited discussions, I'll say, and have gotten emotional to where, like I said, we've gone at it back and forth. Well, what about this? And they'll say something this way and I shoot something back and all that. But what I'm saying is that when we're through having this discussion, it is what it is. You see what I'm saying? I leave it right there. I don't take it any further. So if this is my father, my brother, my aunt, my cousin, my friend that I've been friends with for 20 years, I'm not going to divide against them because we don't agree on politics. That doesn't make sense to me. And so we need to rein it back in, because this is insanity. I mean, truly, this is insanity that a person can sit up and hate a family or a family member, a friend, co-worker, somebody that they have a great relationship and that they know this person over politics. Like I said, I'm sorry. It is what it is. And I know some people quit saying it. No, but that's true. Who you vote for, like I say, I keep my mind in the right place. I understand that, you know what? I don't agree with them. I can sit up and just say that. I can sit up and say the candidate they voted for is lousy. I can sit up and say the candidate that they're voting for is going to ruin the country. You know how they throw all this around. Oh, they're a racist. They're a this. They're that. Fine. I can say all of those things too. But I can sit up and say that. But then at the end of the day, I'm going to say, hey, they have the right to vote for that person who is going to turn the country upside down. They have the right to vote for that person that I feel is not fit to not be the president, but they are not fit to be the CEO of a company or whatever. I have that right too. So, but they have that right to vote for that person. And also, they're not looking at the same thing I'm looking at. What's most important to them? So once again, let's just sit up and say, hey, if we go to the grocery store and we go to the grocery store, the most important thing to me is going in there to get dinner for me and my children. And let's say the most important thing to them is going in there to get breakfast for themselves. Who am I to sit up and say, oh man, you stupid, why you going to get breakfast? And I know you sit up and say, that analogy you just used was very silly. Exactly. That's, to me, that's just how silly it is for us to be going back and forth over this stuff like this. And then people sit up and they take it so personal that they're hating people and they're severing relationships and all these different things. You see in the media where if somebody is friends with somebody who is a Republican now and all of these different things, then you're ostracized. That's wrong. Now, I'm not going to sit up and co-sign on anything done wrong just because I'm on the other side. I'm not going to sit up and say, hey, well, I'm a Democrat, so as long as they're treating Republicans like that, then get it done. Great job. No, I'm going to say that's wrong. I'm going to sit up and say, hey, why are they treating him like that because he voted for a Republican or he hanging out with a Republican or whatever? That's his right. And then vice versa. If I'm a Republican and then they doing it to a Democrat, wrong is wrong. Am I going to sit up and say because I voted for a Republican and that if I'm cool with somebody who's a Democrat, oh, no, let me not take a picture with them. Let me not hang out with them because they're a Democrat and everybody hates all the Democrats now and so I can't hang with them. This is madness and insanity. I'm going to say they're going off what's most important to them. Let's just use this in another scenario that I think would hit home. How would you feel if people acted like that when it came to getting houses or buying cars? When some people get cars, they may want it fully loaded. When they go to a car dealership, they want it fully loaded. They want the heated seats. They want leather and all these other different things. Don't they have that right? Because it's their money they're spending. Okay? So they may get it fully loaded, price tag on it may be $45,000. And you may sit up and say, man, I wish I would spend $45,000 on a car. I don't need heated seats. I don't need leather, this and that. It's not your car. This is not going to affect your pocketbook. They're doing what they want to do with their money and what they feel is important to their purchase. If they feel it's important to have heated seats, well, by golly, let them have it. But why am I going to take this person? That doesn't, and let's just take it a little deeper. So, I'm friends with someone who voted on the other side of what I voted for, which I know them to be, he's a stand-up guy. He's a good father. He's always had my back and been there for me. And I've always been there for him. And that's the real stuff there. That's real life there. That's a real friend. You see what I'm saying? That's a real friend. And so why would I sit up because they voted for a different party than me and sit up and all of a sudden say, I don't even know you. I don't even know you. I can't deal with you. I can't see how you could vote for that person and all this, that, and the other. When I know this person got my back, when I know this person is a good person, got a good heart, love their family, all these other things. Let me ask you this. Do you actually know the candidate you're voting for? Will that candidate give you money when you need it? Will that candidate help you fight if somebody getting ready to jump on you? Will that candidate give you a ride to work when your car is down? Will that candidate watch your kids when you need to go into work early? Will that candidate loan you some money to pay on a bill so your electricity doesn't get cut off Friday? But you're going to turn your back on this friend or family member who is true to you over something that you hoping and assuming about this other person that they're going to do the things that you hope they're going to do when they get in office. So I hope we take that little food for thought there and ask ourselves, you know, should we take politics personal? As I said, we need to realize everybody has the right to choose who they want to vote for. So you cannot tell somebody that they are wrong and you are right because you are voting for someone for these reasons. They have reasons too why they're voting for who they're voting for. Also, what's most important to you may not be what's most important to them. So just like you're voting for that person because you feel that they got up there and they said, hey, I'm going to take care of these things, and you like, that's what I'm talking about. Those are the things most important to me. And they're saying the same thing. So when we go in there to vote, we don't go in here as a group. We don't go in here hand in hand. You go in there as an individual and you vote for who you want to and what's most important to you. And I should be able to do the same. And number 3, stop taking it personal. Stop taking it personal because, as I said, we are more than just a vote. So at the end of the day, we can have a good spirited, emotional conversation about politics. And when I'm done, I'm done. I move forward. I may sit up and say to myself, man, I can't believe that they voting for that person when they doing such and such. But it goes back to what's most important to me and what I'm looking at. They have other things that are important to them. So how dare I take it personal? Because just how I'm looking at them, they can look at me the same way. So therefore, that makes me step back and say, it's not even that serious to be treating someone like that. Or like I say with the body of Christ, dividing over political views and things like that. So I hope this was helpful. I hope it gives you some food for thought as we prepare to go forth for our next election in the next couple of years. And I hope you take the time to look at, be able to think through a lot of the rhetoric and propaganda that is out there in the media. And at the end of the day, we need to be able to agree to disagree respectfully. So that's it for this episode of Let's Talk, Let's Think. And I'm your host, Carrie Braggs. And you have a good one. Until next time.